Hello, welcome back to Cam's Classics. So as we said, we need to get the engine and transmission in the Oldsmobile. Got our Oldsmobile engine here. The first thing we got to do is kind of strip it down so that we can put it in the car. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take the carburetor off here. Make sure not lose that down the hole. And take this rag and shove it in there so something doesn't. Over here I do have a stand for these. We'll just set it here out of the way. What this stand will do is it'll make it so that the butterflies and stuff don't get bent in it. Just there like that. The reason you got to remove that is our lifting thing, our bracket, doesn't sit high enough above that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to pull this distributor out. Since we basically already have it set, all I did was make a mark there. Pull all our plug wires. Pull that. Okay. So then we also want to make a mark here, which is about the center of our rotor. And that way when we put it all back in, it'll go back where we need it to be. And we'll take and undo our distributor clamp hold down here. The reason we're pulling this out is if you get any sort of an angle or anything on it, you can damage the cap, you can bend the distributor, so it's best just to take it out. If we need to do a little bit of timing, we can do that in the car. So, undo this, set it aside. Set that back on there. Pull that up and out. So we can set this aside here on our shelf so we can forget where it's at and not remember, and then we'll have to hunt for it. So I also want to put a rag in that hole, so let me find one. I am going to put these back on here just so they don't get lost. Okay, so this is manual transmission, 4-speed. The 4-speed that was out of the Firebird. We have here the clutch. First part we need is this. And this one still has the old one in it. So we'll fight to get that one out, and then we'll put this new one in. We'll come back to you when we have that in, because it's kind of a pain. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, so they do make a puller tool. Most people don't have one. This is what we found that worked. We're going to feed the engine bread. So you just shove it through this pilot bearing. As you can see, we've got it out quite a ways. The important thing is having something to go in there that's just that size. You just have to kind of work at it and work at it. Oh, where did it go? Oh, here. You just kind of have to keep feeding the engine bread. Basically, they say you can use grease. The grease we found, if you don't have exactly the right, it comes shooting out of there to the side. Well, from there we can probably get it out. There we go. So this wore out. It's basically just a bushing. Was wore out, as you can see how different size those diameters are. This is what we need. This one's wore out. So now we got to clean the bread out and the grease out, and we'll put that one in. Okay, so we got the pilot bearing in. Basically, you hammer that in with a socket. We didn't film it because it took 2 of us, and there's only 2 of us here. But there, I do want to point out, on these pilot bushings, pilot bearings, they all have a little bit of a curled lip on one side. Make sure that's facing back. That helps when you go to put the transmission in. If it's just off just a little bit, it'll help it pop up in there. The next step, we're ready to put the clutch on. So what we want to do is make sure this is clean. So we're using some brake parts cleaner. Making sure that's clean. Grab our clutch. We're very careful we didn't get any grease on it. We've got our installation tool. Go ahead and put that in. Slide that against that. And then set that down carefully. We want to do the same thing on this. Little brake parts cleaner. So what'll happen is when these get put in the box, You can kind of see it on there a little bit. They use kind of a film just to keep it from rusting. So you want to make sure. I am going to take 2 of these bolts to put that up and on just to hold it. We'll do it opposite sides. The other thing, if you ever use these ARPs, again, you have one side that's got a flange or a concave in it. That goes towards your head bolt. Again, we use ARP bolts. We love them. So we are going to thread locker these, but we need to put it up into place first. And looks like we're the outside. Okay, now just kind of hold it in place. And we'll get the rest of these out. We'll put thread locker on them. We'll have to find out the torque spec and we'll run them down and then torque them up. We kind of showed you this in our Firebird video, so we'll come back to you in a minute. So if you watched our other videos, you know how much I hate these cork gaskets. I never can get them to not leak. That's what I think of cork gaskets. So these are made by Edelbrock. They're a little bit thicker. They're made to smash down and seal really good. They're the same ones we put on the Firebird that stopped that leak. When we ran this engine on the initial fire up, we had a leak on this one. So we're swapping this out. The other gaskets were brand new, but I hate leaks, and if I can avoid them by swapping that out, we're going to do it. And a pick set right here.
Right there in the top box.
Get all these started, and then we'll go ahead and tighten them all down. Like I said, the cork ones, I've never had them not leak. I've used silicone, I've used the Edelbrock glue that's supposed to fix them, but I've never had one not leak. And we don't need engine oil everywhere, so swap these out. You just want to start from the inside and tighten them down. No specific torque spec. I don't know if it's the cork ones are too thin or what it is. They just always leak. So with that, we got to do the other side, but it's the same thing, just what we just did, do it on that side, and then we're ready to take it off the run stand. We got to put the bell housing on, put the bell housing together with the clutch fork, throw out bearing, new one right here. We're going to put the transmission on it, and then we can put it all in as one unit. And then we'll have the engine installed. It won't be wired up, it won't be ready to run, but it'll be in the car so that we don't have to fight the fresh paint when we get it back from paint.
2 days later.
Okay, so welcome back. It's another day in the shop. When we left you, we still had the engine on the run stand. We've got it off there on our cherry picker engine hoist. We do have the transmission on. It was just put the bell housing and transmission on. We showed you that in our Pontiac video, so we're ready to slide this in. So we do have this on here. Which allows us to change the angle. It's kind of a, we actually need to go up just a hair. Okay, so now we need to start going the other way.
Down just a little bit more. Right against the firewall. Can you I'm gonna do something good with it. You tip the firewall back down.
You have to set it down and re-rig. So these can't be on there for it to get back as far as it needs to go. So we will actually how do we look for our okay. So we actually got to come back out. There are two mounts on this engine, and we need to be on the back ones and where you are on the front ones. So we'll get that resituated and we'll come back to you. Okay, so just to show you, we had our mounts here. There's another set of holes for it to be a mid mount versus front mount. We needed to be mid mount, so.
Can't go down much, the starter's right here. Okay. Not on your side. So looking good. We know what this other side looks like. We're in over here. Let it down just a little bit more. Oh. Take it back up. Oh.
So we got our motor mount bolts here.
Can you get yours in?
I can almost get mine in, so I have to go down just a little bit. If we put one in, then we can kind of use it as a pivot point.
I gotta go up just a touch. Okay, now let her down just a little bit. Oh, hold on right there a minute. Let me get a punch.
The other thing, we need to jack up the transmission.
How are you looking over there?
He's off a little bit.
Bigger punch. Take it up just smidge. Well, that's getting me worse. Now let her down. Just easy. How are you on your side?
I'm off by a mile. Grab pry bar. That one.
Where you gotta go? Up, down, down.
Put a little more weight on it.
It's completely sitting on it. Going any?
Nope, we gotta go get some smaller bolts. We'll be back in a little bit.
Right on it.
Okay, so what we found is we had to loosen these top ones. These are a little bit different than normal mounts. Normally your rubber's on the bottom, at least with Chevys, and then your upper mount kind of goes over it. These are the opposite. Your hard mount's on the bottom, the rubber mount's on the top. So it's just a little bit of a process to get it in. We got that side done. We're really close on this side.
Let me loosen that mount up a little bit more too. See what we got. What do I do with the rashette? See what that does to you. Maybe you pry down a little.
Loosen that other side of here more.
Okay. Okay, so now we can tighten everything up.
are they?
5/8. Go ahead and get yours here.
Do that one. I'm gonna wait for that ratchet. It's got more teeth in it, so it's does a little bit better job. We're in here in a tight area.
Is that whole thing turning?
Probably.
Go ahead. Get your extension, get out there.
Not very often I get to use this big one guy, so we'll use it. Okay, so we do have the transmission on just a floor jack. We do got to put the cross member in, but we will do that and everything should be in. That's got our engine transmission in. We still got to put the distributor in, the carburetor back on, remove our stuff, but yeah, that's it. The Oldsmobile has an engine again. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.